Get to know Shenequa Golding. She's a dynamic writer, editor, and author of A Black Girl in the Middle, essays on allegedly figuring it all out.
Shenequa Golding, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to dive into your new book, A Black Girl in the Middle, essays on allegedly figuring it all out. Tell me about the aspects of your own experiences that influenced the narrative of this book.
So a lot of this book details the things that I went through in my 20s and a few things that I encountered during the pandemic. But a lot of this book is a look back on who I was then, with a bit of insight and knowledge and distance from the event that I am now, while also still looking ahead. So hence me being in the middle.
Now you put allegedly in parentheses, right?
Big allegedly, yes.
What's the intention behind that?
The allegedly is, listen, girl, don't think that there are any answers that you're gonna be able to hold on to. This is just my conclusions.
So there are 12 essays. I'm imagining you wrote these over a course of time. How do they differ, and what do you hope your reader will take away from each of them?
Oh, so the opening chapter is a chapter about my name and just the experiences that I have had as a Black girl being named Shenequa. And I hope that Black women, non-Black women, and everybody reads that chapter, and whenever they meet a Shenequa, they realize that we are just as nuanced and human and funny and lovely as a Michelle or a Kate or a Kathy. The remaining of the book, I detail friendships, having to change my phone number, a guy that I really liked who didn't like me, my traumas surrounding sex. All of these chapters, some of these chapters were written as early back as 2018. All of these chapters took a lot of energy out of me, and I just really hope that whenever someone reads it, they can see the heart and humanity and the vulnerability in it, and that I tried my best.
It sounds like you have to be very transparent, and give of your true self. You're telling your real stories and hoping that it will, inspire someone else to, be okay with where you are, close up what you can't resolve, move on. It sounds like you're trying to give peace to your reader.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Yes.
You've been pursuing yourself. Would you say that?
Excellent. That's a really concise way to put it. I am trying to give peace to my reader because I was trying to give peace to myself. I was trying to make sense of I was trying to connect the dots. Sometimes I believe that when you separate yourself from a situation, you can see it clearer. You know what I mean? Like chapter 7, Jagged Little Pill, when I talk about anger and how am I going to process anger? How am I going to allow myself to lean into anger? And then the final chapter, I not cliffhanger-esque, but I just say this is kind of where I'm at right now. As 40 is around the corner. I mean, I don't know what type of flaws I'm gonna have, but tune in next week, you know what I mean? So there is a lot of me that I am trying to put to bed, and there's also a lot of me that's hey, we still got some, more figuring out to do.
I think that's the beauty of it, though, too, is that, I hear, and as a Black woman, this speaks to me because you created something that makes me feel like I'm not alone as a Black woman. I'm not alone as a woman, and that we have these experiences that shape us, it shapes our present and our future. And so I think that it's even more imperative to do away with those, to fix those, to resolve those, to process those, however that, some of us could be dealing with trauma from 10 years ago,
yes.
That's impacting how we move for the next 10 years. And so I do feel like your book is timely, just coming off, I'm 42. So, for women that are in their 30s and 40s that are You know, life is different for our age group than they were for our parents' generation. You know,
Yes.
I'm constantly comparing myself to where my parents were at 42. You know, but I've had experiences that they haven't had. You know, and so you know, there's that. And so I think that's the beauty of what you've written thus far. From what it sounds like, I can't wait to read it. In considering the dynamic and varied needs of Black girls and Black women, how do you balance staying true to your artistic vision while considering the broad expectations of your audience?
Oh, so that's a great question. Thank you for that. And I'm going to be very transparent. I was not considering the broad expectations of my audience, and I wasn't. I was just writing, and this might be very selfish. I was just writing about my experience. And if you can relate to my experience, dope. If you can't relate to my experience, I hope my writing is at least good enough for you to be intrigued to continue to turn the page. I am not, you know, this is going to sound so like aloof, but like I'm not strategic in that way where I'm like, oh, you got to do this, you got to say that. Nah, like I'm just writing. And these are just the things that I went through and experienced.
Did you enjoy writing as a child, and did you use it to like process feelings?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I was very insecure as a child. I still deal with a lot of insecurities now. And the only time I felt like I could roar was when I was writing. That's the only time. But I didn't think that you could like turn your little journal entries into a career. I didn't think that. But that was when I was my strongest, my bravest, my boldest, was when I was writing. And when I was at my happiest and most peaceful, I was reading a book.
Reading a book, writing in your journal, sharing, getting those thoughts out too. I think that's really therapeutic too, is to journal that, get that out, but to be able to process those feelings. Versus a lot of people, we just harbor things.
Yeah.
Packed on, baked on, cooked on, you know, and then now we're doing the scrape off, you know, for the next 2 decades. And so, I'm inspired even that you were writing and processing your feelings, you know, even as a teen. As a Black woman, like I said, I thank you for this masterpiece. You were talking about still processing, still learning, still growing. I read that in your packet. What encouraging words do you have for Black women who feel any societal, cultural, or misogynistic pressures that your book just may mitigate?
You know, that's a tough one because societal pressures on Black women are so crafty, you don't even know when you are underneath the weight of them. But I would really say to Black women, first and foremost, I don't know if your viewers are believers. I'm a believer in God. I read my Bible every day. Big fan of Jesus over here. So start to develop a relationship with God and see God how God sees you, right? Not how this society sees you, how Jehovah God sees you. That's number one. Number two, and understand that the noise outside does not dictate what's healthy for you and how you should conduct yourself. And number three, we are strong, but there's also strength in softness. And as a Black woman, I did not believe that for a very long time. I always believed in tough as nails and there's a part of me that's still very much so that way, and I still hold on to that. But during the pandemic, being away from everyone and being able to just be within myself, I learned that softness is so important. There's a reason why like soft soil helps to grow beautiful trees and hard soil does nothing. Allow yourself to be the rich soft soil when you can, and don't let nobody's definition of what a Black woman should be override your definition. Like, Miss Me, get out my face.
Pronto.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love that you said that. And I love that you've encouraged women all over. And for anyone that reads your book, I'm excited for the journey that they get to go on just through your experiences. Can you share how we can get a copy? How can we access the book?
Okay, so you can purchase my book on my website, shenequagolding.com. There you'll see the links for where all my books are sold, or you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Beacon Press. And if you want to follow my wacky, weird, random, sometimes insightful thoughts, I am at Golding Girl, Golding GIRL 617 on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. The 617 is not because I'm from Boston, it's my birthday.
Okay. Well, happy early birthday. Thank you so much. I'm going to follow you today. I encourage everyone to go and follow Shenequa today. Get your copy of this incredible book. Can't wait to read it. And I want to thank you for being my special guest today. It was really a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much, Honey Bunches of Oats.